Some people want more realism in games. Others argue that the quest for gritty realism has taken some of the fun out of gaming. Getting the recoil physics just right on the guns in an FPS title will always be more realistic than zooming around as a blue hedgehog, sucking up jewelry like an overzealous cash for gold salesman. But it's a selective kind of realism that bears little resemblance to the day-to-day life of the average person. Life is Strange is without a doubt then one of the most realistic games we've come across, not because of physics engines or technical flashbangery, but because the characters are so down to earth. Life is Strange is an episodic interactive drama graphic adventure game developed by Dontnod Entertainment, the same team who created Remember Me, and published by Square Enix. The game's plot focuses on Maxine Caulfield, a photography student who discovers that she has the ability to rewind time at any moment when she witnesses a fellow student being shot dead in the girl's bathroom, and then inadvertently rewinds time and puts her right back in her previous class. Confused and determined to find out if this newfound ability is for real, she returns to the scene of the crime just before it happens, and manages to save the girl's life. As this is the first short chapter of an episodic series, to say much more of the story would be to spoil a wonderful narrative. The game thrives on setting up multiple interweaving narrative mysteries fueled by characters who are as much an enigma as they are portraits of everyday people. From the mysterious disappearance of fellow student Rachel Amber to the seemingly, but perhaps not, paranoid school security guard who wants to install CCTV in every room. None of the characters are quite what they seem, yet there's something so endearingly realistic about them that they feel like real people rather than scripted characters. The bullied girl who wants to be left alone withdraws further into herself the more she's picked on, the female students who spend more time lusting after their young teacher than listening to his lectures, the introverts who just want to avoid getting caught up in the teenage politics of school life, the quote-unquote bitch who hides her sensitive side behind snark and bitterness. Each character feels satisfyingly real. And then there's Maxine herself, a dorky misfit with a pun-filled sense of humor whose cringeworthy journal entries read just like the kind of embarrassing diary posts most of us have made at least once during our younger years. Certain player actions and dialogue choices will affect the game's outcome in ways that we can't truly appreciate yet. Remember, this is episode 1 of a 5-episode storyline, and Max's inner thoughts after each choice is made reflect the pros and cons of your decisions, so you never really know whether you made the right choice or not. Choose not to tell the school's principal about one of his students waving a gun around in a bathroom when he corners you, and he demands to know why you're looking shady, and he'll accuse you of keeping secrets and causing trouble. But tell the principal what happened, and he reacts with disbelief that one of his prize pupils has gone off the deep end, causing Max to fear she's put her foot in it and that maybe she should have stayed quiet. Seemingly minor actions like deciding whether or not to sign a petition against CCTV being installed in dorm rooms can also have major consequences. Well, if you think you've made the wrong choice, you can always rewind time. Hold down one of the shoulder buttons, time will reverse back to before the action was initiated. So if you think interrupting the security guard and leaping to her classmate's defense as he harasses her would have been a better option, you're free to make that call. Once you leave an area, the event taking place will become permanent. Graphically, the game is gorgeous to look at, and the lighting effects are particularly impressive, but the lip-syncing leaves a lot to be desired. Characters frequently look like they're miming along to a song that they don't quite know the words to, breaking the immersion and proving hard to unsee what you've noticed. Pacing always moves at a slow speed, but there is a sense that it's building up to something, introducing characters and conflicts so that it can lay the ground for bigger things to come. This is just a prologue. It's harder to comment further on the game's pacing or storyline when we've only seen one episode, but anyone who's a fan of character-driven stories will find plenty to like here. The mystery and intrigue of the game's world is easy to get hooked on, especially when it's backed by a very ambient, immersive soundtrack. And while the cliffhanger ending may not be the most unpredictable in gaming history, there's a large enough threat looming that these particular reviewers are always sweating over some of our choices. Bring on Episode 2.